G'day guys, Mac with the Outer Circle, and in this episode of Getting Started in the Horus Heresy, we're going to look at the Imperial Fists. So, the Imperial Fists Legion are obviously one of the poster children in this box set. That changes things slightly, because when you get this, well, for a start, a bunch of stuff's going to be painted in their scheme, and the box sort of works for them in general from the get-go. You're also going to get a transfer sheet which includes some Imperial Fists decals and iconography, which is a good start for you, because it doesn't mean that you need to get Imperial Fist Legion transfers, but I highly recommend it because it is an excellent sheet and has a lot of decals that you can use either on them or on other forces, whilst this sheet really is just designed for exactly what's in this box and won't stretch much further. Not great if you want to build up the force over time. So, with that in mind, let's think about the box and the characters. This one straight away does not scream Imperial Fist. Now, there are some things we can do to help with that, but we'll come to them later. Let's move on to the book. You're going to need the Loyalist Legiones Astartes army book, and I don't think anyone is surprised by that, but you do. So, when it comes to Games Workshop Imperial Fist parts, they actually stock very little that's, well, really of use. So, I'm going to say avoid them. Move on. Instead, we're going to go straight to Forge World. They recently brought out the Mark 6 upgrade set, and I don't see the Mark 6 in it. I see something that looks more like Mark 8 Errant Armor, or even something more like a stylized Mark 4. Doesn't really thrill me, doesn't really disappoint me, but I don't think it's the only option you guys need to look at. I think the existing Imperial Fist veteran heads, which gives you a variety of Mark 2 and Mark 3 helmets, that's perfectly fine to use as well, because variety is the spice of life, and having at least a couple of different types, because these helmets or heads are pretty much all exactly the same except for the amount of holes that are drilled into the front of the faceplate. These ones, on the other hand, you do have a couple of distinct types. Only a couple, but you do have them. So a combination of the two sets working together perhaps might be a good option. Also, maybe it's worth looking at the Imperial Fist Phalanx Warder. So I would suggest this over the Templar Brethren, because it's a little bit more specialised, a little bit more stylised. This one will give you a variety of Mark IV heads, and it will give you some torsos, which you can convert the box set miniatures to take these torsos. But it gives you the back banner, which I think is an essential upgrade component for this guy. Get rid of the trophy rack, because no Imperial Fist would be caught dead with that in Horus Heresy. Swap him over to this back banner. Straight away, it's going to look a lot better for it. You could also use one of the axe hands on the other Praetor, for instance, to replace the ginormous sword if that isn't the thing you want. And replace his left arm with one of the breaching shields or boarding shields of the Phalanx Warders, and he will become a lot more Imperial Fist than he currently is very, very quickly. And of course, you can pick one of these helmets to use on either him or on him, which will help to make them stand out a little bit instead of just being what the box set offers from the get-go. Now, Terminators come in the box set. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that you're getting a bunch of Cataphracti. Now, Imperial Fists have a few options for Cataphracti that other legions don't, namely Assault Cannons and Storm Shields, and I think a wise investment is in either of those things. The Assault Cannons are just going to be better firepower than the Reaper Autocannon or the Heavy Flamer for Imperial Fist armies. Heavy Flamers have their moment, but other legions seem to do it better, and as Imperial Fist, you're going to get a +1 ballistic skill bonus. This will be a ballistic skill 5 Assault Cannon. So having two of them in your basic squad is just full-on win. The Storm Shields, they will give you survivability. So putting them onto the Cataphracti Terminators is going to make them a lot tougher, a lot tankier when it comes to putting them on the tabletop. So Imperial Fists, like the Space Wolves prior, they're going to utilise a lot more of that Legion-specific equipment earlier on. And I think really Forge World stuff is the best way to go, because what you're getting in the basic box set, whilst it's useful, it's usable, and hey, you can play like any of these sets with these armies straight out of the gate. Do you want to be playing the same army as everyone else? And I would venture that most people who are already in Horus Heresy would definitely say no, And the incoming people will probably lean towards no as well, because one of the most fun parts of this hobby is taking what exists and making it your own, giving them something that's something special that makes them really stand out, so that when people look at it at a distance, even if they couldn't tell the colour for some reason, maybe they're colourblind, maybe they're looking through a filter, they will look at it and go, no, that's Imperial fists. I can tell just by looking at them because of how you've put those models together. That's the sort of thing you want to see when it comes to getting into the Horus Heresy. And that's why I suggest kits like this, because you can totally change the look and feel of these forces. Like, the Sons of Horus painted character does not look like an Imperial miniature. He does not look like an Imperial fist. He's covered in this loose bits of chainmail, has this giant sort of executioner's axe, and of course the trophy backpack, which is very, well, we'll say dark for a time period when the Imperium is not yet grim dark. It's coming, it's happening, but they're not there yet. So stepping away from that, just by changing a few little things about this model, will dramatically change the look and feel of this force. And I think that's true for almost every single force in the Horus Heresy. When you get to some legions, like, say, the Thousand Sons, for example, or the Blood Angels, this miniature is not a great representative of those legions, as it's supplied in the box. But there is a lot you can do to change these things. So it's something to consider or keep in the back of your mind as we go along. And yeah, using helmets, especially one of these ones like the crested helmet here, would look fantastic on a Praetor, as opposed to the helmets or heads that these models are supplied with, which, you know, they're iconic in the sense that you can pick them out, yes, but are they what the average person's going to want? I'm going to lean towards no. Some people will. Some people will love it, and that is totally cool. I'm not here to ruin your fun, but I would suggest going about it a little bit differently. Anyway, that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, like the others, it's short, it's sharp, it's simple. We want to give you the best possible selection of stuff to buy for day one, so that you're not wasting your money on unnecessary things. You'll notice that in none of these armies am I turning around telling you, buy rhinos, buy a Kratos, and buy extra power armor and special and heavy weapons. I'm not telling anyone to do that on day one, because I firmly believe that is not what you should be doing when you pick up this box if you want to get the most value out of it. And value will come later in the series. Anyway, that's all from me, Mac with the Outer Circle, and I'll catch you all on the next one.